Huh.
Actually, no, it comes out on my birthday.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I thought the first one was pretty good.
The first one, what?
The first Mortal Kombat. Not the 1991. The one that
The
came out.
first Mortal Kombat was excellent.
I-
The 1990 whatever version.
Okay. I disagree. That's not what I meant. I meant the 2021 version.
You know what you meant?
No. Okay.
Welcome to Capes, Cowls, and Conversations, where we are finally on video. I'm here with Connor Ferguson and Cameron, my son, and we're going to talk about Luke Cage Season 1 on our road to Daredevil series. But first of all, just get used to the idea that we're on video.
Yeah.
We're on video. And now when I say I've got Matt Murdock and Foggy Nelson here with me, I mean, everybody can see that I have Matt Murdock and Foggy right here with me.
Except I'm not blind.
The red glasses would say otherwise. I'm just saying.
That's not what they're for.
Okay.
They're FL41 glasses. They're meant for light sensitivity, so my eyes don't hurt, and so I don't get migraines.
That's okay. So real quick, you had something to say about Secret Wars before we dive into Luke Cage.
Well, yeah. I was going to do this as the cold open, but never mind. I guess it's Mortal Kombat now.
You know, we always have to mess up whatever your plan is every single time.
Hey, Russo Brothers came out the other day and have officially confirmed that the way they treated Endgame was meant to be an ending story, and the way they're treating Secret Wars is a beginning story. So, in reference that the Secret Wars will be treated as a new beginning for the MCU.
Okay.
Which I'm excited for, because we needed a fresh start for a while.
Okay.
So I don't know how that's going to work with Spider-Man's ongoing MCU contract and the street level storyline they have building. But
I
we'll
mean,
see.
yeah, especially with possibly Luke Cage, who we're going to talk about coming back for the street level stuff.
Yeah, did you hear what the rumor is for Daredevil Born Again season 2?
I have not. Have you?
Not since he told me earlier before we left.
Spoil it.
Essentially, it's the Defenders might be returning fully to fight another group.
Okay.
We're
going to get
season
an
2.
Avengers versus Defenders. That would be awesome.
That's not the
I
rumor.
doubt that.
That's too bad.
Too small of a show. But
I don't think it's going to be like, what was it? Justice League versus Titans or whatever it was.
Actually, it was a pretty good cartoon.
Just League versus Teen Titans?
Yeah.
Yeah, good Teen Titans setup to a a decent Teen Titans movie. I actually liked the Judas contract as well. That was...
Yeah, no. DC has done animation right. They just can't get the live action stuff right.
Well, up until they rebooted it.
They still can't get the live action stuff right.
Oh no, I meant the animated stuff.
Oh yeah. Fair.
up until the reboot where they decided to rush everything, but I think part of that was James Gunn wanting to tie animation to live action.
That's fair. That's fair.
But anywho, so yeah,
Okay.
that's where we're at on Secret Wars.
So Road to Daredevil, we fell behind. Born Again is already out, but we're still trying to. We're gonna try to get Connor there.
Yes.
So we got to Luke Cage season 1. Let's start Luke Cage season 1. Thoughts? Do you want to run through it episode by episode, or you just want to talk Luke Cage season 1? What you thought of it overall?
I think it's better to talk overall, just because it's not well. Yeah, it's kind of hard not to talk it because the Cottonmouth storyline is so embedded into the show that I don't think I could just talk about it one by one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Let me start with the cast is again phenomenal. Like for the I don't know. I love each and every cast from each and one of these shows. They're all doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Mahershala Ali is fantastic as Cottonmouth. Steals the show. Like best character in the whole series, if I'm being honest. Ooh. In Luke Cage?
In the whole series?
In the whole series. Better than Mike Coulter. Mike Coulter's doing great. Cottonmouth is the best character in the whole series.
I don't know. I kind of liked Willis Stryker a little bit better than Cottonmouth.
I like Stryker quite a bit too.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he just didn't have as big of a. I feel like they set him up to have a bigger presence than he had. I feel like they tried to treat him like Kingpin, like like they did.
He was like the Black Kingpin.
That's how they tried to treat it, but when he actually appeared, I don't think he had as much. I don't think he had like the thing that Vincent D'Onofrio had. Like I don't know, he didn't carry the same way that I feel like Vincent D'Onofrio did. I think.
Okay.
Also, I have to ask this.
Yes, ask.
Willis Stryker and his family has like no connection to, I guess, General Stryker or whatever.
No.
Okay.
No.
I just wanted to get that cleared out.
No connection.
And because I remembered that they were doing the Serpent Society in Captain America: Brave New World.
Entirely different.
Entirely different Diamondback.
Yeah.
I kind of put that back in my head because I was like, he dresses like a snake. Like his whole outfit's designed off of an actual Diamondback snake at the end of the series.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, that's not the same character at all.
No, it's not. I mean, that's not even the same character.
Like she's a female.
It's not that they repurposed Diamondback the way that they repurposed Nico in Spider-Man. It is an entirely different character.
Well, so is Cottonmouth, but like both names are pulled straight out of the Serpent Society. So that's what, and even Bushmaster is a Serpent Society member later on.
Well, but I think Bushmaster is the same character, but Diamondback and Cottonmouth are not the same.
Not even close.
Like they're not even Serpent Society members who they dragged into New York to do this show. There's 2 Diamondbacks in Marvel. There's 2 Cottonmouths in Marvel, and they are not related.
Yep. Except I don't think that's how it works in the comics. I think that's just how they did it.
I'm saying I'm pretty sure I read that they're not related in the comics. It's 2 separate Diamondbacks. The Diamondback is not the Serpent Society Diamondback in the comics either.
Yeah, no, I don't think he even I think it was an OC for this show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they just decided to give, or like, I guess use the name a couple times for 2 different people.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the purpose of using the snake names was for Luke Cage.
I do think it would have been interesting to do the Serpent Society as a bunch of different gangs, though. Like that actually would have been an interesting take on that instead of one singular gang. It's like 5 different leaders, and they all.
That could have worked.
I think that could have been more interesting than what we got in Brave New World. But that's just me.
Well, but Serpent Society was really cut out of Brave New World, so
They really were.
yeah. So it's not like we
we've never got a proper adaptation.
Really got it. Yeah. But I don't know why the snake names. I'm not really sure. I don't know that they ever really clarified why Cottonmouth but Cottonmouth had nothing to do with the snake, so Diamondback doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
they called him Cottonmouth for another reason when he was a kid, and they were making fun of him. I mean, they made that pretty clear when he was playing the piano, and he called him Cottonmouth. And he goes, "I hate that name."
Yeah,
and it had nothing to do with.
Yeah, I don't even think they really even explained it, if I remember correctly, because I didn't get it. Like they did the flashbacks, they still didn't explain it. They just introduced the gag.
Yeah, they introduced it, and then he just said, "I hate that name," and then they just didn't do anything else.
I don't think it was important. So
I forgot how involved Rosario Dawson was in Luke Cage. I thought it was like the last couple episodes, like every other show, except for Daredevil.
Yeah. No, I remembered her taking him to get healed.
Yeah,
from the Judas Bullet. She had I knew she had a big presence in this one.
Well, I knew
And-
she had the episode. I didn't know she stuck around till like
I didn't
the
think she was
very
gonna
end. It was
be involved
It
at
had been a
all.
while.
Well, what I thought was interesting about her and about Misty Knight is they both supposedly grew up in that area
and don't know each other.
and don't know each other at all and
Yeah.
don't like each other like they don't know each other. But Rosario Dawson's character's mom has a restaurant there apparently, or she has a restaurant there.
Yeah.
But she never knew Pop, but everybody knew Pop.
Yeah,
And Misty Knight grew up there, but she never went to the restaurant, and so they never knew each other. That was kind of like, how did you miss that?
yeah, it is. Well,
You're part of the same neighborhood, and at one point she even says, "I wish I knew that guy." And
Yeah, I
and
know.
Misty Knight's like, "You kind of do."
yeah, you.
Yeah.
like that
Like,
was
you know
weird.
Luke, so you kind of do know Pop, but you should have known Pop because you grew up in that area.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but I guess you could make the argument maybe she was just not as an active in the gangs and stuff, and that's how most people would have known Pop in the past. And then in the present, I mean, unless she went and got her hair done, it's not like she would be stopping in there for any reason.
Misty did.
Yeah, Misty got her hair done.
No,
Didn't she?
Misty's dad got his hair done.
Oh, yeah.
And Misty heard them talk about basketball, which is what got her to love basketball and want to be a great basketball player because her dad and Pop talked basketball all the time in front of
Yeah,
her.
okay, I remember. So then,
So-
oh, by the way, that Method Man cameo, I completely forgot about it.
I did too, and I love that song.
I
Actually,
love it. It's actually on the soundtrack. I'll send it to you. It's a good song.
no, I dropped that on my workout playlist.
Yeah, I completely forgot about it. The whole thing too. Like we got to the scene where he's in the or it was a trying to remember. It wasn't a gas station, was it?
The radio show, right?
No, before the radio show.
Oh.
Where because he's the guy who gives him the hoodie. Like they're in.
Oh, yeah.
he stops
it was
a
like
robbery.
a little convenience store.
Yeah. Or I
Yeah.
guess it was so he was in the
Yeah.
convenience store that was getting robbed.
Yeah.
That's where they had Method Man appear at first. And he gives him a hoodie. And then he goes and tells the radio show.
Right.
That was such a cool. I completely forgot that was in there.
Yeah, there were a lot of great cameos and a lot of good music actually in Luke Cage.
Oh yeah.
Probably some of my favorite music from any of the Defenders series
Mm-hmm.
is the music in Luke Cage.
Well, I was gonna say
A mix of
Adrian-
old and new.
Adrian Young, I think did the most of the soundtrack, or not soundtrack, the score, and he also worked on he actually did hip hop music, so
Yeah.
a lot of it was influenced by, and I think that's really cool. So that made it really a lot. The music, but it also did have a couple moments where it started to feel a little corny though. It was really good
The
for
music?
yeah, like in some of the scenes, just the way that it was shot with the music, there was a couple scenes that felt a little awkward to me.
I think you just heard them say "you're so corny" so many times. You want to throw that in this show
Yeah.
because I don't know how many
probably.
times. I don't know how many times Claire told that to
But no,
Luke Cage.
I'm
She's
being
like
legit.
he's like referencing coffee, and she's like, "You're so corny."
Yeah.
That's
Now you want
corny.
to throw that in our show?
No,
Come on now,
I'm-
you're
I'm
so
being-
corny.
No, I'm being serious. I think that there are a couple of shots where I think like the music made it a little awkward. Not
I
bad,
love the music.
but for the most part, the music was it was like 5% of the time. 95% of the time, the music was amazing. There was like a couple of moments where I was like, this doesn't feel very fitting, but that's
You
just
had
me.
5% of an idea.
But what?
That's a reference to.
No, it's 12% of a plan.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I love the music. When the show opens, different from all the other shows, different from all the Marvel stuff, the way that the music kicks in. Again, for me, it's another one of those. As soon as I hear the Luke Cage music, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to watch.
Yeah.
I just think that's such an important part of all the shows and movies,
He
that little
skips it
intro.
every time.
I never skip it.
It makes the episode go by faster because you skip it and you just jump
Oh,
straight in.
Oh, you skip it every time.
Yes. He skips it every
I
time.
I listened to it on the first episode and then the last episode listened through it all the way again.
Oh, stop.
Now everybody gets to see who's doing that. Everybody, check your phones real quick and see that Cameron is the one who's constantly letting his phone
It's
ring on our
not
show.
constant.
Every show.
It's
It's not a show till your phone goes off.
Mine's muted.
The Luke Cage music though, the opening theme, feels very. I'm trying to think.
It really does fit the whole historical thing of Harlem.
I think so. It reminds me of when I was younger than you guys. There was a show, not a show, a movie that would come on TBS all the time. It was called "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker," and I mean it was a black gangster, like I want to say 60s, 70s show. And it was kind of a parody of gangster movies.
Oh, okay.
And it had that similar music. When I hear that music, I always think back to "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker." Like who was in it? The older Wayans, Keenan Ivory Wayans, I believe, was in it, and he's the older brother of Shawn and Marlon, who did like the Scream parodies. You know, what were they called? It wasn't Scream. It wasn't Stab. It was Scary Movie. So like Shawn and Marlon made Scary Movie 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, Keenan and Ivory Wayans made like "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker," and like parody gangster movies. It was more funny than it was actually gangster, but it had that kind of music, the 60s, 70s.
I was gonna say it
feel that song, the opening to Luke Cage has. I loved it.
It kind of, in some moments, to me, kind of reminded me of Rocky too, a little bit. I don't know why.
Okay, I can see that.
Because it opens with
Rocky
boxing montage.
Yeah, well, that and no, I mean, in some of
because it ends with a boxing match between Diamondback
no,
and
I
Luke
mean
Cage.
the theme itself has like the similar instruments and like tune writing for.
I don't remember. I guess I don't.
Do you not remember?
I think that's different. Dun, 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 dun. No, that's different.
It kind of, I don't know. I don't know why. Every time it came on, I always thought like it started to make me think of Rocky for a couple minutes.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Okay.
But mostly not for Rocky, for Apollo Creed.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't really I don't know why. That's just what popped in my head every time.
I don't remember what Apollo Creed's music was like. That very well could have been it, to be honest. I have to go back and watch it again.
I haven't watched Rocky or Creed at all.
What?
That's crazy.
Nope.
Man, well, he says that's crazy, but it actually took me dragging him through those movies.
No.
I dragged him through every Rocky movie and every Rambo movie.
You didn't drag me through
Rambo.
We only watched one Rambo movie.
No, we watched them all. Yes, we did.
We watched the first one.
In fact, we watched them all and went to the most recent one in the theater.
Yes, we watched the last one and we watched the first one. I have not seen any of the other Rambo movies.
Yes, you have.
I have not seen.
I'm being honest. We didn't finish Rambo because they left Netflix too early, or too like by the time we got to it, it was already gone. Because what we were trying to do was binge watch all of the Rocky movies and then binge watch all the Rambo movies. And by the time that we got to Rambo, all those movies were leaving January 1st.
I don't think so. I remember watching them.
It was January 1st, and they were gone. I think the most we got to might have been Rambo 2, but that's about it.
We got through Rambo 2 for sure.
And
I'm pretty sure we got all the way through them.
We didn't get all the way through them, unfortunately.
But anyway.
Because I remember being disappointed about that. But we still went and watched it anyway because you said we really didn't need to watch the other ones. We just need to watch the first one.
Wasn't super important. But I did drag him through all the Rockies.
Drag me through
all the Rockies.
Through
all the Creeds.
You had to convince me to watch the first Rocky movie, but after that,
he was hooked.
It was good. Like
now he wants to watch Tulsa King.
What?
No.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, Sylvester Stallone's new TV show.
Yeah, I've seen
made by the guy who made Yellowstone.
I'm sorry, I've been chronically offline.
I also need to watch Yellowstone too.
Oh, Yellowstone's good. But
Still
it's not Luke Cage.
No, it's not.
So I'm actually glad they got the Sweet Christmas in as many times as they did.
Well, there was a couple. He said Sweet Christmas. He also said Sweet Sister at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It was in the last couple episodes.
Next to
but
the last episode.
Mostly he was saying,
Sweet Christmas.
I like that they did that because I feel
And
like
that he doesn't swear and he doesn't like being called the N-word.
no, yeah.
And actually makes him mad, makes him want to fight.
Yeah.
So
I do like how Pop has a presence throughout the entire show, even though he dies in like the first episode.
he doesn't die in the first.
No,
Second
it's like
episode?
It's like the third
or
episode,
fourth.
yeah. It's a couple episodes in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the third and fourth one. One of the two.
So Cameron's gonna look it up on
I'm gonna look
on camera.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up because I was pretty sure I was shocked by how early it happened.
You know how to get that answer faster, right? Quick typing it up and just ask Chat GPT.
No thanks. I like it the old fashioned way.
Do you use Chat GPT?
Mm-mm.
You guys.
No.
No,
Oh,
my coworker uses Chat GPT, but for some reason he has had a focus of using it to create music out of it. Like just have it auto generate its own music.
Okay.
Code of the Streets. He dies in the second episode.
Oh,
Yeah. I knew
End
thought-
of the second episode?
No. Middle of the second episode. Like
I thought it was at the end of one of the episodes.
No,
and then
second
they-
episode
and then
ends
they
with
carried
him.
it over to the next one. That's
Yeah.
what I thought too.
No, the second episode he ends with him going to Crispus Attucks and breaking in.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why the third episode.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
that's
he
right.
dies. Pop dies in like the middle of episode 2.
Okay.
And the funeral's in episode 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what that was what's crazy is I forgot how early that happened.
He
Like-
does carry. I mean, his presence does carry all the way through.
But
he
it-
actually
Yeah,
has a
it
cameo
does.
in the last episode.
It,
So
it makes you think like that it happens so much later in the show, in my opinion.
I mean, it felt like it.
Yeah, because his presence is constantly there, even though he's dead, because of how well that Luke like exudes the emotion of his death afterward.
Well, I don't think the story carries long periods of time. They kind of gloss over how fast they get to Georgia, and then back from Georgia. They make it seem like it
Yeah.
was.
I feel like
They make it feel like that was a
spent more
super
time-
quick trip, and it is
Yeah.
not that quick of a trip.
No.
I feel like they should have spent longer on the being in Georgia part.
I thought did his dad die?
No, he refused to see him. He's like that. That's not important. Claire tried to get him to go see us. You should see your dad. And he was like, that's
and
not
I thought
important.
they went to the church and they couldn't find him. It was all destroyed and ransacked and
They
whatever.
went to the church and it was all destroyed. That didn't mean his dad was dead. The church
So-
was just trash.
It was
Man,
just
man.
trash and probably out of service or something.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, his
yeah.
dad obviously wasn't a good person.
No.
So-
no.
My goodness. After Cotton, I'm surprised that they decided to do. They ended one story arc like halfway through the season and then started another one the second half. And I liked both of them. Willis Stryker being Luke Cage's brother was completely. I mean, it was a great idea and it threw me off, but they just did it so well. I honestly thought that the Cottonmouth stuff was going to run throughout the entire season, and then they do
Well-
away with them at the end, like they have for the other shows.
Yeah, but he did serve as the kind of like underlying story for Mariah all the way through because her character carries all the way through.
That's
Yeah.
true.
you know, and she killed him and somehow got away with it.
Yeah.
Such
So,
crap. But
like-
it does come back later.
Yeah,
If I
no,
remember
but
correctly, right?
But she still, she still
Yeah.
gets away with it for the time being. What I did, I guess, what the one thing that if I had a complaint about the show, it's the connection between Stryker and Cottonmouth. There was no real reason for it.
Yeah,
No, there
that-
really
it-
wasn't.
There's not a reason because Luke wasn't from Harlem.
Nope.
So for Stryker to have been set up with Cottonmouth this entire time as his gun dealer,
Well,
and his financier from behind the scenes for the entire time, all with the purpose of getting Luke Cage, all with the purpose of getting Carl Lucas, doesn't make a whole lot of sense because Luke wasn't there. There was no good reason for Luke to be there.
Well-
and nobody knew that he was Carl Lucas at the time.
Yeah.
Willis had a weird. Oh, also, I forgot. There's a joke that I love. It's the what you talking about, Willis?
Yeah.
I love that reference so much. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But and I love.
Oh,
his-
you got jokes?
But the Willis so like Punisher, right, gets like really delved into in Daredevil season 2.
Yeah.
And I thought they would do the same here, and they kind of tried. Like I think they referenced that he might have been a Marine before he was a gun dealer. But
They did not give him.
They didn't
They didn't give him the same depth that they gave
No,
Punisher. But I think they didn't because Punisher was always designed to have his own show,
true.
and Stryker was never going to make it out of Luke Cage.
No, but he was supposed to return. They had set zero. Yeah, they were supposed to set him up for season 3. and-
Yeah, I hate that they decided not to do anything with that at the end of season 1 where
He's laying in the hospital.
he was laying in the
Yeah,
hospital
he
and
was-
the doctor that helped Luke Cage get healed from his wounds took his brother and I guess is going to start running
because
the same
because
experiments
that
on him.
DNA
Yeah.
Yeah.
because the DNA from Luke Cage is the only DNA that this would work on. So maybe Stryker, being a brother with half the same DNA,
Yeah.
might be able to.
So I think they
Excuse
were
me.
gonna give him powers, have him come back, kind of like Kingpin does later on, and fight him. But they never got to make that season. So
So it doesn't matter.
I'm hoping that with the revitalization of the Defenders properties, he gets to come back because he is. I do think he's still a good character, and I would like to see that wrapped up. But at the same time, I don't know. I honestly forgot. They think it was such a forgotten plot thread for me that before I even saw that scene, I thought he died. Legitimate.
Oh, yeah.
I thought they just pulled another
Marvel thing.
Yeah, we're
We're
gonna
gonna kill
another
all the
villain.
villains. We killed Cottonmouth. We'll kill Diamondback. That
I
Marvel
thought
has
they
a
were gonna
history
kill
of
'em
killing
too.
all of the villains.
So
And I also I know you keep saying that like Shades has flirted with Mariah, but I know we've taken like several breaks throughout season 1, but I cannot ever think or like connect that he was just flirting with her back and forth
he
anytime they've interacted with each other.
he literally called her a beautiful. What was it? Beautiful. I don't remember. He was flirting with her for like.
I
the
mean, it was very
entirety.
subtle. It's not the way like Claire and Luke
No.
flirt.
Yeah.
It was much more subtle. It was more power driven flirting.
He was.
He was alluding to like you could be this person and I could be by your side kind of stuff. Not flirty like, hey baby, let's go out. He was more like together we could rule this place kind of.
Yeah.
But he was more of the instigator. I think that's where it threw you, is that he was more of the instigator, and she didn't really seem like she was on the.
She didn't seem like she was interested at all, really.
Yeah, she wasn't really like on the receiving end of it much.
Yeah.
like she didn't like make it. No, it didn't make it aware that she was actually like into it, and then then she kisses him at the end. So.
Yeah, that also surprised me at the end as well because I wasn't expecting that to happen at all.
But I mean, I saw it coming a mile away just because A, I'd already seen it, and B, the setup was all there. I kind of like, even if I had forgotten it, it was more like, oh, okay, they're the other love interest in the show.
Yeah, I mean, I
the other
guess.
romance story in the show.
I guess it's a very weird romance for me.
She looks
Yeah.
older than
She
him.
feels way older than him.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know how old he is. Like in real life, even I'm not sure. I've seen him once in real life, so I don't know if you guys know this, but they were shooting a movie in Rogers, Bentonville area, and he was in it.
Oh.
And I was driving down 8th Street on a Sunday morning. Streets were clear, and he was running down the sidewalk, just doing a jog down the sidewalk over by 8th Street in Bentonville. And I had this moment where I was like, man, if I was famous, would I want somebody pulling their car over and just going, man, I love your acting. Can I please have your autograph? Or would I just want to be left alone
Yeah.
on my Sunday run? Like, it's one thing to run into somebody famous at a Comic-Con, or it's different to run into them maybe even in a public place like a restaurant or something.
Yeah.
But he's on his Sunday morning run while
See-
he's here shooting this movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I just wouldn't want somebody to interrupt my run. I think so. I had Elle with me, and we just kind of waved as we drove by. But I was like, I have always kicked myself since, like, man, I wish I had gotten to just meet him because I love that dude. He was in Sons of Anarchy too, and he was really good in Sons of Anarchy.
I think for me, my ideal like meeting a celebrity situation would be like, I would want it to be similar to like Falcon or Captain America, the Winter Soldier, where Sam and Cap are running around
On your left.
and he's like on your left. It's like, yeah, got it. On my left. Like, and then it gets to the end. It's like, oh, you should punish yourself. Go take another lap. Did you take it? I assume you already took it. Like, that'd be my ideal, like, meeting a celebrity situation would be like if it was on a jog and we were just joking around, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I just couldn't bring myself to interrupt his Sunday morning run. So, but yeah, so
Overall, I do like Luke Cage season 1. Again, better than Jessica Jones season 1.
Fair,
Just because
fair.
it's, I mean, again, yes, it's still a little bit slower than how fast paced Daredevil is, but it's just got a lot more interesting story arcs in it. And it's just way more involved with like the city and then the people and just everything.
The only thing I'm shocked by is there was no Incredible Hulk reference at all.
I'm pretty sure there was.
Like, no, there was no Destruction of Harlem reference at all.
Yes, definitely was.
Where?
There was multiple reference. Oh, you mean Incredible Hulk the movie?
Yes.
Oh, I was going to say there was multiple references to the incident.
Yeah, I'm not talking about.
There was multiple references to the incident, to green guys running around, to magical hammers, to
Yeah,
there were references to all that stuff,
Yeah.
including a reference to green guys running around, which obviously was the Hulk.
Yeah, I just mean there was
but
no.
they
like,
did not talk about the Incredible Hulk movie and the destruction of Harlem in the Incredible
right
Hulk
because
movie.
that would
No,
be
that
like
was not
6
talked
years
about.
of rebuilding.
Yeah.
Because that, I mean, they almost destroyed the whole. Like they almost wiped Harlem off the map.
Yeah, well, no, you're not wrong. They didn't address that at all. But I think Marvel was really trying to just forget that movie was made until Captain America: Brave New World.
She-Hulk. They straight up reference it a lot in She-Hulk.
Oh, really?
Yes, there's like 2 whole arcs dedicated to Abomination in that show,
Oh, right.
I mean,
and they bring up
yes.
Harlem. They
and
even
they bring
show
him up in
footage.
Shang-Chi too, but I think largely they didn't want to address, and particularly this show is not really Marvel. This is Marvel in the same way that Sony movies are Marvel, only slightly different because Netflix made these.
No.
Disney
That
Disney
actu-
Marvel
that
did not
is-
make these.
No, that's actually a false. That was proven false
What?
this year. ABC Studios and Marvel Television worked directly on these shows. Netflix was just the producer. They just put
I
the,
don't
that.
think
That's how
true.
that worked.
I know Jeff Loeb was part of it, but
No, they made that. ABC Studios was the header of the shows.
if that was the case, they should have been able to make much more direct references
why I-
to everything
yeah.
than just a newspaper on
But
the
that's
wall.
a fact that came out this year. Was that ABC Studios worked
Oh,
directly?
we'll have to look that up.
I did.
I don't believe you.
That's a fact. That came out. No, that came
I
out in
never
an
believe
interview
you.
this year. Okay. That literally it was just a production deal. Like they put it on a streaming service. That was it.
I
That's
love
that,
how worked
that was
up you get.
And it's entertaining for me.
because it's frustrating because I'm sitting here like, yeah, this is an actual fact, and you're like, no, I gotta look it up and see it for myself, and I'm like, I did the research. Like I'm not making this up.
You know what I love is we have the video now, so we'll be able to go back and see if I was like, no.
Whatever, man. Anyway, yeah, they were in house, so they were in the Disney MCU pipeline. I don't know why they aren't allowed to. I think again, it is largely the conflict between Jeff Loeb and Kevin Feige where Kevin Feige wanted to keep a lot of the movies secret. And in order to do that, he couldn't tie all the shows together that way because then he would have to spoil different, like that's why Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fell apart, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. straight up says that Thanos is going to destroy the planet. And then obviously in Infinity War, he just snaps his fingers and half of the population gets eliminated. Not
Okay, you're gonna have to show me that scene. I don't remember them even talking about Thanos.
Yeah, did you not watch season 6?
Yeah.
Where they were in space?
Yeah.
And they told Gravitron, like, hey, like Thanos is coming to Earth and he's gonna destroy. Like, that's why there was a crater on Earth in the future, was because they were saying Thanos smashed into the planet. And
So I don't remember that. I don't remember them actually saying Thanos.
yeah, they did.
I thought they left it more open.
And then like he goes to Coulson and goes, hey, we need to make it back to Earth because Thanos is here. Like, they did that. They completely name dropped him and everything. But the thing is that in the movie, again, it was only about snapping half of life, not destroying the planet. So,
Gotcha.
whatever. That was the miscommunication between the two a lot, is that he wanted them to be connected and Kevin Feige was like, no. So,
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I like Brad Winderbaum anyway. He like that he has a better connective tissue with the MCU.
Well, I think they've learned some things over time about connecting shows and movies and
But they haven't
keeping people
learned
interested.
about how to keep making good movies. At least on Sony's end.
No, that's true. That's just because Sony doesn't want to play ball.
Well,
And on the Marvel front, on bad movies, I think it's just like, for instance, like Captain America: Brave New World was already shot a lot before they had the big Marvel like picnic or whatever thing where they went and like talked over a bunch of, or whatever it was, workshop or whatever. I don't know. Where they went and the entire Marvel. You don't remember? The entire Marvel staff went out for like a dinner or something, or for like a full week, and discussed how to fix and reorganize all the Disney stuff because of how bad they were failing.
I did not hear or know about that.
How did you not hear it? That was a big deal because a lot of the new movies that have come out have been completely restructured. That's like why Brave New World got so many reshoots.
I thought it got so many reshoots because they screened it and it got crapped all over.
They did, but they also took like a full week to go That's why Daredevil Born Again had a massive creative overhaul as well. Like, they've completely redone a lot of the stuff that they're doing, but the thing is, they already shot so much of certain.
And I thought
movies.
Daredevil got reshoots because they made it too campy instead of keeping it dark.
Yes, but they discussed it for a full week. Like, that was part of what that was going back and discussing how to reconnect everything and make it better.
Okay.
Because right after that, then they went to like San Diego and were like, we now have there's no more Marvel Studios. It's Marvel Studios runs the movies. Marvel Television runs the TV shows. Marvel Animation is doing its own thing. Like, these are the three separate things. That wasn't just like we're putting this in front of the titles now. That was these are the teams working on these. So that
Isn't
Kevin
there
Feige,
a Marvel division for their games or no?
Yeah, Marvel Games even got a new division as well.
Oh, okay.
Kevin Feige's still above everything, but instead of him being the head of each and everything, he now has 4 different heads running different things, and he's just the guy above everybody.
So he's just the one overseeing all
He's
of
the
them.
connective tissue.
Yes.
He's Mariah Dillard.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Maybe he's Claire. Claire's keeping it all together.
Good Lord.
Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Claire's in it all. Iron Fist, Claire's in it all.
I don't know how you didn't hear about that, because that was...
I mean, I do have a job and a life.
Well, I have a job and sometimes a life. Whenever it's not just work. But anyway, but yeah, so that was what that whole meeting was about. They went but again, like I said, certain things were already shot and filmed. Like, they even said that Daredevil Born Again, a lot of season 1 is just reworked footage that they already shot, and that the pilot episode was actually episode 2. That what they reshot was turned into episode 1.
Okay.
So, and that's basically what they did with Brave New World too. Was a lot of it was just reused footage or whatever, just being moved around and had some added context to make it different from the original script. So,
Gotcha.
so hopefully we'll get into a direction where it's all original stuff and not stuff that's already been shot. Because Vision Quest is starting shooting soon.
So is Doomsday.
Yes, Doomsday has
Oh,
also
yeah.
started.
Is
Doomsday,
it so? Would that mean that the animation department would be covering Marvel Zombies?
animations covering Marvel Zombies, What If, Spider-Man.
What if it's done?
Or,
So
yeah, What If is
pretty
done.
There are
What If
no
is
more
done
What
now.
If.
They were they covered the final season of What If.
I'm glad that there was only 3 seasons because I don't
But-
think
But-
they could have handled the fourth
But
one.
Marvel Zombies, as cool an opportunity as it
Oh,
could
yeah.
have been,
Yeah, it's
is that I mean they came out. Brad Winderbaum,
yeah
whoever
Came
did
out.
an interview a little while back now, but he said it will help you to have a working knowledge of how Marvel Zombies was and What If going into the Marvel Zombies that we're making, which means
Huh.
it's built off of the What If storyline,
Interesting.
So it's
which
got-
I think Cameron's super excited about.
no,
He loves it.
absolutely not. When I think Marvel Zombies, I don't think Zombieland remake. I think of like existential crisis stuff because that's what that comic was. It was just a great it. I mean, it dealt with a lot of existential terror because the characters were still the characters, but now they have this drive to eat human flesh.
I feel like that's what Disney should do with Lucasfilms and do the Star Wars version of like that zombie storyline.
Please no, no thanks.
I feel like they
The
should.
cover art that I saw for the comic though looks great.
I think they should demolish Star Wars and start over.
I think they should start over. I don't know about demolish it.
They should.
They
act-
should start over for sure, but not destroy everything
We're
and be
so
like,
I mean, really start over. Speaking of starting over, this episode.
Yeah. So where were we? We were talking about Claire. I didn't realize.
I
how
just
mu-
said
how-
she's the through line.
No,
for all
where
the
I
shows.
left off was that Claire. I didn't realize how much she was involved in the show. Just because, she's involved in Daredevil season 1 a lot, but then like even in season 2, she only was in like 2 episodes, and then she was only in I think 2 episodes of Jessica Jones as well, but she was only in for like part of 1 and basically a whole episode before that.
I don't know. It was
Um,
interesting how they reference. Excuse me. They reference the previous shows a couple of times.
Yes.
yeah,
They reference the Punisher.
I like the
shooting up
connectivity.
the city.
Yeah.
They reference Jessica Jones actually breaking
Kilgrave's neck.
at one point, saying that we've got a woman who just breaks a guy's neck because he controls her. Like that's a bad thing.
Oh my god.
yeah.
Literally,
Because he uses mind control on her.
what I remembered is that Daredevil and Luke Cage almost overlap just because Claire leaves Hell's Kitchen in the finale of Daredevil, but then she doesn't show up in Luke Cage she doesn't show up in Harlem until episode 3, which means that the finale and episode 3 overlap, but overlap in a way.
Yeah, I mean, she does
Yeah.
tell her. She does tell her mom, like the hospital
Yeah.
was trying to cover this stuff up. We had, what did she say? She didn't say we had zombies,
Ninjas.
ninjas.
Yeah,
we
we
had
had
ninjas attack the hospital. It's like she goes in and describes all the stuff from Daredevil
Yeah.
season 2.
So I do like the connective tissue, but I do think that
I've said this. I think I told Connor this in one of our early episodes
Yeah.
on Road to Daredevil, how well they connect these shows compared to other
yeah.
Marvel properties.
No, yeah.
Really
These
do.
are much more well connected.
except for
It's such a confusing order to have to watch them in.
a little bit, but I think my biggest issue with this show, I said this during Jessica Jones, but I gave the reason that Kilgrave mind controlling Daredevil would kind of not make a lot of sense for him to be there. But in this case, I can kind of see why Jessica Jones wouldn't be in the show. But by the end, where's Daredevil? Like, Hell's Kitchen and Harlem.
He's still focused. Remember, he's still focused on the ninjas.
No, the finale is over by episode 3. We are past that.
No. At the end, he tells Karen who he is.
Yes.
And
that's how it ends.
I know, but there's still a ninja issue. There's still a hand issue. Like the hand is still active.
Yeah, but like...
So his focus is on the hand. It's not on what's going on in Harlem. He's not a Harlem guy to begin with. He's a Hell's Kitchen guy. That is not the same borough.
It's not far enough away for it to justify... Like, Hell's Kitchen and Harlem are not far enough away from each other to justify... Because now he can grapple over there.
But why?
The city is blowing up.
He's got enough to deal with in his own.
Episode 3, a kitchen gets blown up.
So this is what
restaurant.
This is what I think. Yeah. No, but this is what I think. This is kind of the problem. This is kind of the problem with the Marvel series. And what you just said about it's an odd way to watch them.
Yeah.
What really should be happening is these 4 things should be happening concurrently. Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil season 1 should be happening concurrently. And instead what you got is Daredevil season 1, Jessica Jones, and then kind of Daredevil season 2. And then they overlap Daredevil season 2 and Luke Cage like this, just a tiny bit. But really the what's pretended here is that Luke Cage is going to happen, Iron Fist is going to happen, and then it's Defenders, right?
Yeah.
But what is Daredevil doing from the end of season 2 to Defenders? Because they're not happening concurrently.
Yeah.
It makes it seem like he's just sitting on his hands from the end of season 2 till Defenders, and he's not really sitting on his hands.
No,
it's why he can't participate in Luke Cage, because he's really not sitting on his hands. But because of the way it's released, it makes it seem like, oh, season 2 is over. So he's just sitting in Hell's Kitchen yucking it up until something happens. But that's not really what's happening.
To be fair, he's still a freelance attorney in Defenders. He's freelancing.
No, I know, but I'm just saying they make it seem like as a superhero he's sitting on his hands, but he's not.
Yeah,
like that's not who he is to sit on his hands until that.
You can I guess give the suspension of disbelief of oh, he's probably covering someone in a court case, or he's probably
but the court cases weren't enough for him.
I know.
During the Castle stuff, he could give a crap about Frank Castle's court case. He was going to try to bring down the hand.
Yeah.
And Castle was a big deal. We're not talking about some petty criminal. And it still wasn't important enough to take his attention.
Century,
what I'm saying. So, but it wasn't enough to take his attention away from the hand. Yeah. So why would anything else? And that I think is why, to your point, it's a weird order to watch them in, because what you really should be seeing is 4 people who their stories are going to intersect over time until they become the Defenders, not 4 completely separate stories and somehow they intersect at the Defenders.
Yeah.
And that's a miss. It's kind of an obvious miss, but at the same time, they didn't really know what they had on their hands.
Yeah, I think in Iron Fist is where you start to feel the weirdest, because he's back in Hell's Kitchen. Rand Industries is in Hell's Kitchen. The Hand are the main villains of Iron Fist.
Yeah.
So that's where you really start to feel where is Matt?
Where's Matt for this?
What is
there
he
should be a
doing?
lot of crossover there that there's not.
Yeah.
And again, it makes it look like he's sitting on his hands. And they do a much better job crossing over these shows than they do any other Marvel properties. And at the same time, you do get that sense of okay, we've met Matt Murdock. He would be here.
Yeah.
But not in Luke Cage.
Nope.
Yeah. Also, thanks for the spoilers. Now I know who the main villains are for.
Well,
Iron
it's
Fist.
not gonna. That's not gonna spoil anything for you.
That's not a spoiler.
The Hand is the main villain of the Defenders too.
I kind of figured as much.
The hand is like Thanos. They're just there. They're gonna overlap. They're in everything.
Madame Gao is going to forever.
Does she return? Yeah, I don't remember.
So,
the Hand almost kind of sounds like the Forever Knights to me.
Oh, come
Sorry,
on.
I've
Ben
been
10?
I've been binge watching
Bro.
Ben
Oh
my
10 for
gosh.
like 2 months straight.
I haven't watched Ben 10 in over 10 years. It's been so
That's
long.
crazy. He's on Omniverse now.
I'm on season
I-
6 of Omniverse.
I'm not watching it.
I wish they would reboot Ben 10 from the beginning
I
and not turn it into an anime style garbage show like they did after Omniverse.
Yeah.
They rebooted him back to 8 years old and
not in
dubbed-
Omniverse.
No, after Omniverse
Oh,
is what I
after,
said.
yeah.
And they gave him that weird side character person. All of that was
That is Omniverse.
it was a disaster.
Rook was Omniverse.
Oh, then that's the one that's a disaster.
He
When they took
wasn't-
him back to a little boy again.
No, that's
And they
No.
changed the
that
animation
was,
style.
That was a flashback. It wasn't a reboot. It was a flashback.
Omniverse deals with flashbacks where he goes back. He goes.
Yeah. I just
You'll
didn't-
basically be
I
going
didn't
back
like it
and
'cause
forth
it was
between.
That's the one where they changed the animation style.
Yes.
Yeah.
They changed.
Gross. Yeah, that ruined it for me. All
My,
of that.
my
Like
problem is
Omniverse.
my problem is that they retconned a lot of things and that Ben never really mentally progresses past Alien Force season 3.
Alien Force was the best of the.
Alien Force season 1 and 2, I agree. He was very mature as a character, but then they decided to that Cartoon Network thought that he wasn't like relating to kids anymore, so they gave him the original Ben 10 personality of a 10-year-old
Gross.
as a 16-year-old. And then he kept aging up until Omniverse, where they decided to keep him at the age of 16 for like 10 years, even though.
And this is the problem with every show, and why we love what Marvel does with the Defenders, because they
That's fair.
stick to their characters. They progress the characters over time.
They age them properly.
Yeah.
We were set to get a Luke Cage Iron Fist crossover show. We were set to get Luke Cage and Jessica Jones married. We were set for a lot of cool things to happen. Yes, we were.
Not
Wait,
not
really?
Jessica Jones. No, we were set to get Luke Cage and Claire.
We were set to get
Oh,
Colleen.
okay.
We were set to get Colleen and Misty Knight's show.
Yeah.
There were a lot of cool stuff that was set to happen,
And then it all just went down.
and then it all just fell apart.
I
but
will
they
say-
progressed the characters in a really great way, and I mean,
So Matt and Claire or Luke and Claire?
Luke and Claire definitely work a lot better than Matt and Claire.
I'm interested in your I'm
Matt needs Claire more than Luke needs Claire.
I think the Judas bullet kind of proves that wrong.
No, it absolutely doesn't.
Really?
Uh-uh.
He nearly died.
Yeah, he did, but at the end of the day, he could be saved, and he could be saved by somebody else, the doctor who originally made him. But Matt has no healing factor, has no impenetrable skin. He just gets beat the crap out of all the time.
True.
And
But
Claire,
he heals with meditation. He doesn't need Claire.
I know. I'm the one who said he has a superpower called healing with meditation, and you went a whole episode blasting me for saying that.
Oh,
But-
It's so dumb. It's the
But
dumbest thing.
nevertheless,
It's not a healing factor whatsoever.
nevertheless, he needs Claire a whole lot more than Luke needs Claire.
True. I do.
I will say that in the episode, in the season, Luke Cage, they point out like the DA comes in
yeah.
and he's like, anything that the cops use hits the streets, the criminals end up getting it. And I don't remember season 2, so I'm gonna be kind of excited to get back into Luke Cage and see season 2. But it seems like the Judas bullets disappear.
I think I remember more about season 2, but only because my favorite crossover is in that season.
Your favorite crossover?
Really?
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it because it's such a good episode. But
is it with
I don't.
other defenders or?
You'll see. I'm not gonna tell you. You'll
Yeah.
see.
Anyway,
He does this every time
I
I ask
know.
a simple question.
It's-
It's a tease.
It's a tease because it's exciting, and I want you to be excited. But I also don't want to ruin it for you because we didn't know it was gonna happen when we watched it. So
Fair enough.
So anyway, to answer your question, Matt and Claire.
Matt and Claire. All right. I think personally, I'm gonna go with if you're going for logic, then Matt and Claire. But if you're going for the romance side, I think it's Luke and Claire for me.
But Matt has Karen.
But we know that Luke actually likes that bad girl. And so Claire doesn't do it for Luke ultimately because he likes Jessica Jones.
Oh, I didn't realize. I completely forgot that Luke was religious. Before the show started, before we were
Oh my God.
That's the whole
yeah.
non-cursing thing.
I know.
The
His
whole non-cursing
brother
thing
is overly religious, and it's literally like messed with his brain, and he keeps quoting.
Well, he's a
things
giant
from,
hypocrite.
Yeah.
Well,
He
yeah.
seems to forget the whole "thou shalt not kill."
Like it's
I'll quote the Bible, but I'm not going to quote "thou shalt not kill."
like I remember because obviously Matt being Catholic is like a big like thing, and then I forgot that Frank was Catholic, but then I completely forgot that Luke is, I think, Christian or
He's probably Baptist. He was in the South.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so I completely forgot that like that was a whole thing in the show, and then I'm watching it again like oh yeah, he was his dad was a preacher. I completely just like brain wiped until
Yeah.
then. So yeah,
Which leaves Jessica the atheist.
and Danny.
Maybe.
Well, Danny's spiritual. He's Eastern religion.
So
Yeah, he is spiritual.
He's not
Where-
religious. He's
well,
spiritual.
Do they explain more in season 1? Or you said something about like not till Defenders, where they like actually explain the backstory to Danny Rand.
No, they explain it in
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist,
Okay.
Yeah.
which we started the first episode.
I love Iron Fist. I think we'll get through that one quicker than we got through some of these others. I love Iron Fist.
I'm already like we're on the first like watching the first episode. I'm like, why did people hate this so?
I couldn't see why people were complaining about it. Like I understand that the actor didn't have time to memorize the choreography for it, but just the fight scenes in the first episode still looks pretty well done to me.
Yeah, I like his fighting. I like his demeanor. I like the way that they wrote the character. I like the actor. He's from Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
He's Loras, I think, in Game of Thrones, and he's a fantastic actor. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's.
So-
I think people didn't like the. I think people forgot that he was trapped at 10 years old, so he's kind of mentally stunted a little bit. So a lot of people were like, he's too aggressive and he has these like childish outbursts, and it's like, but wouldn't you if you watched your family die?
Yeah.
And
I mean,
you
there's
were
just a
trapped
lot.
somewhere from 10
Yeah.
years old to being a full grown adult. Like,
There's just a lot to it, but it gets all explained, I think, and it's
does.
a really good show.
it is a way better show than people say it is.
Looking forward to that one. Glad we got through Luke Cage season 1. Luke Cage season 1 to me is just a great show, great
Oh
season.
yeah, it's really good.
I did forget about Colleen's tease at the end of the first of Luke Cage. If you look at when Claire's walking to the like a lamppost, there's a sign for Colleen's studio.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Didn't even didn't
I didn't
know
notice
that.
it.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Well, I didn't notice it the very first time either because I didn't know who Colleen was at the time because I hadn't watched the show. So then like I'm watching through and I see it and I'm like, oh, what? That's crazy. I didn't know that got set up that early.
Yeah.
I also forgot that Luke went to prison I thought
You forgot he went back?
Well,
it doesn't
I knew-
last very long.
I knew he went back. What I forgot is when he gets out.
Is he out by the time Defenders or season 2 of Luke Cage?
To be the third. I'm kidding. No, he's in the poster for Defenders.
That's true.
So I won't tell you how it happens though. But yeah, he's out by Defenders.
Matt probably
Okay.
helps him.
Well, I mean, Claire says she's going to get him at the end of season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She says, I'm telling you, I've got a great attorney. So,
Yeah.
all right, guys.
Oh, then you're both gonna be surprised then.
Good. I've forgotten how he gets
Because
out.
I
haven't
know how it
watched
happens.
so.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Luke Cage season 1.
Sweet Christmas.
First video episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I have not looked at. I don't think I've looked at the camera that much.
you haven't. He has.
Keep trying to
I
balance
have. We're gonna figure the video thing out. His camera's gonna have to move because he looks this way the whole time.
Yeah.
So your camera's gonna have to move over here so that we actually get your face, and your mic's gonna have to move over there so that the mic's not covering your face when the camera's on it.
Fair.
But we'll get it figured out, and
I think I've mastered jimming the camera.
we'll try to do better every single time until we get it perfect.
Fair.
Here we go.
Fair.